Have you heard about the dead pope whose body was put on trial? Please hit the subscription button and the notification bell to keep you informed whenever we post a new video. The Cadaver Synod ranks as the most gruesome episode in the history of the Catholic Church. The Synodus Horrenda, as it's known in Latin, was the ecclesiastical trial of a dead pope. The pontiff was put on trial not just in name, posthumously, his rotting corpse was dug up and dragged into an ecclesiastical court. The event was so macabre that it's difficult to believe it actually happened. No official record of the Cadaver Synod exists. It was so horrifying that the Vatican quietly expunged this shameful chapter from its own history. Too unspeakable to be known, it was a horrifying truth that the Church wanted suppressed. The macabre event took place in the St. John Lateran Basilica in Rome. The year was 897 AD. The chief prosecutor was the sitting Pope, Stephen VI, elected pontiff a year earlier. The defendant was the late Pope Formosus, accused of crimes committed during his papacy. His putrefied cadaver was exhumed and hauled into court, where the body was propped up on a throne. The name of the accused, Formosus, meant good-looking in Latin. One can imagine, however, his ghoulish physical appearance while Pope Stephen fulminated at his corpse in an advanced state of decomposition. Pope Stephen shouted out the charges against the deceased pontiff: perjury, coveting the papacy, and violating church canons. Since Formosus was in no condition to speak for himself, a young deacon had been appointed to defend the corpse. Terrified, the novice cowered behind his dead client as Pope Stephen hurled abuse at the cadaver. At one point during the trial, an earthquake struck Rome, shaking the basilica and causing part of the structure to collapse. It must have seemed like a dark omen presaging the fall of the papacy itself. A shocking deviance from the pious image of the Church's heavenly kingdom, the Cadaver Synod exposed the dark irrationality of a corrupt papacy mired in the worst excesses of the earthly city. It marked the beginning of the Church's so-called Dark Age, or Saeculum Obscurum, through most of the 10th century. This was the scandalous chapter of the bad popes. It is impossible to grasp the horror of the Cadaver Synod without understanding the historical backdrop that made it possible. The 9th century was a period of ceaseless turmoil and upheaval throughout Christendom. Following the death of Charlemagne in 814 AD, his Holy Roman Empire gradually unraveled and slipped into violence and chaos. The Frankish kings, and Charlemagne in particular, had provided the papacy with protection and stability. Charlemagne had saved Pope Leo III from assassination by Roman nobles, restored him as pontiff, and sent a strong message that the papacy was under Frankish military protection.